Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Jack of All Trades. I'm your host, Jack Allen, and today we're in Canonsburg, Pennsylvania, speaking to Bill Saris, who is the owner of the Saris Candy Company. We hope you enjoy our show. All right, well, I'm here with Bill Saris, the owner of Saris Candy in Canonsburg, and it took a while to pin him down, but he did say that he would meet with us and do our show because, you know, when you think of Pittsburgh, you think of Permanis, Heinz, and Saris Candy. So those are the three things that we're known for in Western Pennsylvania. So thank you for coming.
Hey, thank you for being here. It's great.
And just give us a little bit of background how you started. I mean, I know your dad started in the basement, or
Yeah, he did. My dad's worked at RCA, started making some candy in the basement. But really what it started was there was another candy guy local. And my dad wanted some extra money, and he says, hey, can you deliver me some candy to Erie? And my dad said, sure. And he gave my dad $100. And my dad says, there must be money in the candy business. I'm going to take a look. So he really started and made an effort to go in and learn on his own, making candy in the basement, practicing, and doing things like that, and sold some candies that he was making to his fellow workers at RCA.
mm-hmm.
And finally, so I guess the manager or the boss at RCA says, hey, make up your mind. Candy or here. Yeah, he said. So he went for the candy, and that's basically where it started. So I grew up going downstairs at 10, 11 years old and helping him make bunnies and do some things like that. So, you know, I really grew up, and when I say from the bottom, from the basement,
Yeah.
okay, learning this little things, and here we are. That's really the quick Reader's
Right.
Digest version.
Well, I mean, you think about it, for that long ago to give him $100, which
It was huge.
in 1960 or whatever was
Huge.
No wonder that would make them look at it and say there got to be something in this.
Yes.
So you made it in the basement.
Yeah.
For and how long?
For 1963, okay, decided to, and again, we lived upstairs.
Still in
We're
Canonsburg?
still in right here where we're sitting.
Okay.
Is where our house was.
Okay.
Exactly right here. And it had a yard next to it. So he said, you know what, I'm going to build a store. So we built a store. It was 30 by 100. 30 wide, 100 deep, with the candy store, and they made candy behind the candy store and did that. That was the first store. And things just expanded from there. Again, bought the house next door, added on, tore down our home,
Okay.
okay, added on, and built an apartment upstairs. And we lived up above here till I went to college at W&J, graduated in 75, and that's when my dad built their home that's when South Point started.
Okay.
So then he built a home at South Point and finally had a first home
That was his first home.
outside of living here,
Right.
and moving to South Point.
Right.
So it's a story, it's a story.
Well, I mean, just by and the work that he did with the library named after him and the transplant at UPMC. I mean, he's obviously a well-respected person in not just Canonsburg, but Western Pennsylvania.
He's done a lot. We did. Growing up like that and then coming into the business, he grew up doing it from nothing. He gave me the opportunity to go in, and I say to make mistakes. All right, he gave me that opportunity, and we grew. We went to we bought equipment, we expanded. I went to Europe. I went to Europe and come back, and I said, "Hey, I bought 3 candy lines." And my dad always never said no, but never said yes. He always said,
"Boy, I
"We'll
hope Bill
see."
knows what he's
He
doing.
said, "We'll see." Exactly. I always said, "It's too late. I already bought it."
Yeah.
Okay, here's what we're doing. You know, we went into fundraising, and then we had an opportunity when there was another candy company that was working with Giant Eagle, and he passed away, and the daughter called us and said, "Hey, can you do me a favor?" I said, "Oh man, I don't know if that's something we want to do," because they were in 3 Giant Eagles. And I said, "Well, how much are you selling in there?" And she says, "Oh, $50,000. I said, "Okay, that's pretty good." So we went into those 3 Giant Eagles, and that Christmas we did 150,000.
Okay.
I went, "Oh, man," my dad goes, "Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's see what we can do." And we slowly expanded with them. Word of mouth, Giant Eagle, grocery chains.
Sure.
You know, we Hallmark. Now we have vendors all over the country that we sell product to. I know you noticed when our sales guy just came in and said, "Hey, I got 13 stores in Michigan."
Yeah.
Okay, confirm it that we're going to go. We'll go for it, and let's do it. So these are opportunities that we have, and why we're growing. Okay,
Yeah.
why I was crazy enough to go build a new facility at 72 years old.
Yeah.
So
Well, I mean, you know, what I saw that you were in 11 states. There might even be more than that. Maybe that's old information. So you expanded everywhere.
we're doing our people work hard. They really do a great job. We found let's call it a little niche market. At Easter time, we make our Easter eggs. People across the country, surprisingly, don't celebrate Easter like we celebrate Easter here in Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
They don't. They might buy a bunny, they might buy something for their kids, but not the Easter baskets and the crazy things that Western PA people do.
Yeah.
Okay, so doing that, there isn't a company now in the U.S. making Easter eggs that you can do. So we're expanding there with the broker network.
Okay.
So that's something that we'll be doing here in 2026.
And that helps with the new production line that you're putting in.
It does. It helps with new production. It gets your name out in the marketplace, so people other than Easter can go online. We build a customer base of the people that never tasted our stuff before. That's what we really try to do, is get our chocolate people to taste us. Okay, they need to taste it. There's no question, and that the candy, your people are loyal to their candy.
Yeah.
Okay, and to get people to change is difficult, but they're there, and they do. That's why we're expanding, because the opportunities are there.
And then you bought another candy company from Central PA, Gardner's?
We bought Gardner's Candies in 1996 because if you see here where our store is, we're landlocked. We needed production because we were expanding, and we would continue to expand. There was an opportunity there. We bought Gardner's. Didn't change anything, the name or anything there.
No, I recognize the name, so it's been
So
around.
we kept it, but it's kind of like a twin or sister companies. Okay, but they have a separate thing that they do. Their major product is Gardner's Original Peanut Butter Melt-Away. So that's their product line. It's been a fun ride.
Okay, and then just, I'm sure you talk about it all the time, the fire that you had here.
And we lived I told you, we lived upstairs.
Right.
His biggest fear was always to make sure that everything was shut down and that, because he was always feared that there would be a fire. Okay, and 2012, it was just, and we have video cameras showing what happened. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so it was a strip, plug strip, one of those 6 plug strips.
Yeah.
That one of the maintenance people put a fan on that they were due to the floor. It sparked for some reason in the wall, so there was a wisp of smoke, and that's above the ice cream parlor is where it was, and that's what started the fire, and it's on video till the camera burned, and it was what was something was it was close to Easter, so there was a lot of chocolate up there, and the firemen when they came. They opened the door and went upstairs, and it was dark. And the guy comes back, and he's full of chocolate. He looks like we threw a bucket of chocolate on the on there. But yeah, so it was really if it was going to happen, that was the right place to happen because the manufacturing was the other set of the building, and we have our I call them our warehouses down there where our fulfillment center, where we do all the orders, all the packing, all the shipping. So all the candy that's made goes down to our
Okay.
So we had all our candy there. It was nothing. You know, people were calling, going, "I'm not going to get my fundraising candy."
Yeah, right.
Everybody got taken care of, and the opportunity was we had candy in grocery chains. You know, I always say Giant Eagle, but there's Giant Eagle, there's Shop and Save, there's
Right.
Coons, there's all these people. Are great vendors with us, our partners. So there was never any problem with people getting their Easter candy for the year.
So it was basically confined to the one area.
It was confined. It was a lot of damage,
Yeah.
water damages. But the thing we lost was a lot of our candy molds.
Okay.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of molds
Yeah.
that you can't replace them. Okay, we made new molds? Yes, we went in, but the old ones that we had and some of the things that we had, especially, we had big molds. When I say big, let's just say a big Santa Claus mold that was life size, burned.
Yeah.
Our biggest bunny mold burned, things like that we lost and you just can't get those anymore.
So, I mean, is that an outside company that does that, or you design that here?
No, the outside companies make those molds,
Okay.
and they're all polycarbonate molds now, not the old metal molds.
Okay.
Okay.
And I think that I read you had like over 3,000 different molds.
We do. We have thousands of different molds.
I've been here many times looking at the different.
We always say, you know what? If we don't have it, you tell us, and we can
You
probably
can
make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, so the production itself, you make the product. Do you have a decorator that does like the eggs and things like that have?
A lot of the chocolate lines. Okay, the decorations are made here. Okay, they decoration. We have a group of employees that do nothing but fancy up the chocolate molds.
Okay.
Okay, they do a lot of decorations. We have pastry chefs that make our ice cream cakes and things like that. So the majority of things that we do are all in-house. Even we have our own agency in-house with our graphic designers that design stuff and our marketing team. As much as we can do internally ourselves, we do. It's just a lot easier because we move quickly, if I may say that. In fact, I just had a call. It was last night at home. Said, "Hey, I'm stuck. Can you make me some chocolate bars?" Okay, I said, "Yeah, how many do you need?" He says, "I need 50,000." I said, "When do you want them?" He says, "When can I have them?" I said, "Tuesday." And he says, "What do you mean?" I says, "Well, I'll run them Monday, and you can pick them up Tuesday."
Yeah.
He said, "How do you do it that fast?" I said, "That's what we do." When you have lines like that.
Yeah, how do you do it that fast? I mean, I'm sure you have everything
We have
programmed what you need to make on what days.
Well, as long as we have what they sell, the candy mold, okay, like a candy bar mold. If he wanted, I said, "Hey, I have the bar mold, but this is the size." He says, "That's fine, that works for me." So we have, when I say, "How much do you want?" We have one line that can run 25,000 a day. We have one line can run 50,000 a day. We have a line that can run 100,000 a day. So
The bars or
the bars,
okay.
okay, just the standard 2-ounce or 2.5-ounce candy bar.
Okay.
Okay, so we have different lines that can do different things.
Now, how about the ice cream business? How did you get into the ice cream business, and how long ago?
I think it was like 84 or 5.
Okay.
Again, my dad with the candy business always said candy people had a soda fountain. So he said, I think we want to make ice cream. We're going to put an ice cream parlor in there. And I said, who knows how to make ice cream? He said, well, I don't know. Let's go to the dairy and find out. There was the dairy. The story is the dairy was McReith's Dairy out on 980, not far from here. But when I was a kid, my grandmother made pies, and she'd say, go get me milk. Well, I'd take my bike and go to the McReith's. And back then, it was a jar, and they had the big metal containers.
Yeah.
And you just stuck your hand in, filled it up, and went back home. So let's go. I'm gonna go talk to Mr. McReith. And we went in there, and I saw him. I said, hey, we're interested in making ice cream. And he says, I've been waiting 50 years for somebody to come and ask me that. And he pulled out a folder with recipes for ice cream.
Really?
Okay. So we came back and started making ice cream, and took some of those recipes, and
that's all made in
everything's made here. Yeah, all the ice creams are made here.
Okay.
And we have a couple people now that make the ice cream.
And you have very different flavors.
Yes, yeah, a whole bunch of different flavors that they make.
So that's a whole
Different ones
business
during
in
the year.
itself.
It's by itself, yeah. And again, we make a lot of ice cream cakes and things like that. We were making ice cream cakes, said, you know what, we need somebody. So we found a pastry chef. And there's two, we have two. And they just sit there and decorate and make cakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what my 3 daughters decorated cakes, and then the oldest one, she decorated for the last 6-7 years.
Well, we ended up stealing the decorator from Dairy Queen.
I wonder if that was ours. No, it wasn't my daughter, so it wasn't ours.
We ended up we were looking for somebody. She says, I do cakes at Dairy Queen. I said, come on. She says, well, I don't want to leave Dairy Queen. I said, don't. We'll see. Eventually, she's back here. She came full time. That's what they do.
Yeah, it's interesting. The ice cream business is interesting, but that's just a small part of your total portfolio, I would imagine.
People come here from all over the place. If you look in the parking lot, you see different plates. So I guess people have heard about us and come in and say, yep, go there.
So the drivers, because I see your trucks all the time. So those trucks are yours. They work for you, and they deliver a certain territory. Or?
Yeah, we have, I don't know, about I think 30.
Mm-hmm.
And we have guys. Yes, they have their routes that they sit there and maintain and deliver product to. Again, some C-stores, grocery chains, to anybody within our local delivery area. So you always see our trucks running around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good billboard.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And the thing is, once you get out of this area, you're saying it's handled direct or by a broker or what have you.
We're doing a lot of the grocery chains in Ohio. Giant Eagle now is in Ohio. I think they got about 100 stores. So we have our people in Ohio every day. We have a couple people that sit there and visit every store.
Yeah.
There's 100 stores, so they hit them within 2 weeks. They'll hit every store. 50. This guy has 50. The other driver has 50. One out of Cleveland area, one out of the Columbus area.
Okay.
So that two hubs, I'll call them. So, and we just started doing that a couple years ago. We have the opportunity.
Well, it sounds like you're always looking for an opportunity.
You do. You're working. You say you're hustling. You're managing what people are doing. And again, you can't do this stuff yourself. Okay, we have great employees.
How many people do you employ?
from between both companies, close to 400.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Seasonally, it's up. Summertime, it's down. Okay, we're basically seasonal, and we have a lot of employees that really like that because they're working when their kids are in school.
Yeah, right. So they're
Okay,
off
and
the
then
summer.
they're off all summer. They like it, and they're back in the fall when the kids go back to school, and that works out really well. Okay, because you can't keep all that many people full time. I'd love to.
Yeah.
And we're working on
Yeah.
it. But they don't want it. Some people
They don't want it.
They don't want it. They love doing it that way.
Yeah. And I think we mentioned before, or maybe we did when we were just talking about your new location, new production facility.
Right.
What's that going to give you the capacity to do?
We moved everything from here. Okay, this is 30,000 square feet. That's 135,000 square feet. That lets us automate and increase production. Okay, it's basically what the whole facility does for us. We are going to put a little store in there.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to put a walkway, a mezzanine, so people can tour and come in and oversee all the production.
Okay.
And the kitchens, the cooking, and the things that are going on in the kitchen. We'll have a room, collective. I call it a propaganda room. Everybody laughs when I say that, but it's a place where everybody can go in and see videos. We can talk to people and just and see some things that we're doing. Basically everything we're talking about.
Yeah.
You'll be able to
see
hear and
it.
see when you're there. But it's going to be it's going to be nice. Okay, it's a handicap abilities. There's elevators there for people to go up and get up to oversee the mezzanine.
And when do you expect that to be open?
Fully, probably everything by. We're hoping for Easter, 26.
Okay.
Okay, prior to that, but we're looking for that. And so we'll have tours. Again, it's gonna.
So now, is that going to open before you retire or no?
Yeah. God, I just want to see it completed. That's all. I said, let me make it to see it completed. My wife yells when I say that, but it's a lot of work. And you know what? We still have family involved.
That's what I was going to ask you. I know it yourself.
I have two daughters. Both have two children, and one is a marketing person for Gardner's Candies. My other daughter, her husband sold a business that he operated, and wanted something to do. When we were starting this up, I said, I got something for you to do. So we have that generation. He's taken over all that and everything that's going on, all the construction, the production area, things like that. So taking somebody that hasn't been in the candy business,
Mm-hmm.
You need to learn chocolate. I keep saying you need to learn chocolate, but he's great at what he does. And I have a grandson that's got a year at WVU. He's working through the summer, and I have him, I have him down and dirty. I always say down and
Got to
dirty.
start somewhere,
You know
right?
what? You got to learn you got to learn
Do everything.
the equipment, and you have to learn chocolate. You have to become an expert here to manage what you're going to do here. Okay? And I say you're not going to be a suit and tie for a long, long time.
You work your way up like you did.
Well, you need to learn that stuff. Okay? It's very hard to find somebody. Okay, even if we're looking for a lot of people right now. All right, we're hiring now for the fall, but we need maintenance technicians. Okay, we need people that can sit there and fix them. When I say fix a machine, all our chocolate machines, it's basic plumbing, basic electricals. All right, so you need to know how to do that, and motors, things that replacing. We always have a backup. Okay, and we make sure, like right now, we are completely shut down. And what we do is we tear every piece of equipment that we own, tear it apart, completely clean them, rebuild them. Okay, so that when the season comes, everything runs the way it should.
So you do that about the same time every year?
We do that about the same time every year. We should be finishing up probably next week or so. By the end of July, we'll finish up and be ready to go first week of August. But you go there and you know, if you're overlooking it, all you see is piping and machines and things like that, because all the chocolate flows everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, you know, it's moving, it's filling tanks, moving machines, things like that. But we still do a lot of hands-on. When people go, oh my God, you still do that by hand? Yeah, we still do a lot of stuff
really?
by hand. Yep. You don't see robots taking people's jobs. You don't see that. No, we don't. We still a lot of hand work, a lot of hand packing, a lot of hand.
Unless you want 50,000 candy bars, that's the machine.
Well, that's there's still people working there.
Oh, I'm sure of that.
Believe
Yeah.
me, believe me. You know, but you need people to make sure things are right.
Yeah.
You know, that's.
And I was telling you that when I spoke to you a couple months ago about my granddaughter, the only thing she eats is mac and cheese and Sarah's candy bars.
I really like her.
Yeah, you know, my one daughter bought her 8 candy bars, and she won't eat a Hershey bar. She won't eat anything, and she ate like 8 or 7 of them within the first day. It's like, slow down.
Hey, kids love chocolate. There's no doubt about that. You know, I said, once they have chocolate, that's what we want.
Yeah.
I won't say they're hooked, but that's how you grow up with. That's their favorite.
And it's
that's a
not
really
just
good example.
chocolate. I mean, yours has a different flavor than
We do some different.
right.
Yeah, ours is a little different. It's all beans. You know, where we get our beans and things like that. Milk, beans. A lot of times, a lot of chocolates have powdered milk. Okay, things like that they do. That's fine. Okay, I've never had I'll call it a bad piece of chocolate. Okay, but there's a lot of differences. We're used to we're in a milk chocolate area. We
Yeah.
don't do a lot of dark. You know, you move east, you go to New York and things.
True.
It's a lot more dark chocolate, because their milk chocolate looks dark. Okay, ours is light because of the beans we use.
So all right. Well, I appreciate you being part of our show.
No, it's fun. It is. It's nice. It's nice to do this, and we enjoy it. Yeah, appreciate it.
Okay. Thank you, Bill.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
All right.
Pleasure.
Well, thank you everyone for watching our show today. I want to thank Bill Saris for giving us his time, and hopefully we will be back to give you a tour of the new facility when it's opened at the beginning of 2026.